Hi students, today we are going to learn about the surface marking of the thorax. Okay, so these surface markings are very much important to understand the anatomy of the lung tissues. So whenever there are lobes of the lungs, okay, so those lobes, how are they dividing on the surface, we will come to know. Suppose upper lobe is separated from the middle lobe by the horizontal fissure or a transverse fissure. So on the surface where it comes, okay, along with that the borders of lung till which the lungs are existing, till which level of the rib the lungs are existing, we should also have an idea. Then and then only we will come to know that in what way we are supposed to give a treatment to the patient. So postural drainage, it's a bronchial hygiene technique. For postural drainage, we are supposed to understand the lobes and segments of the lungs. So for that we are supposed to have an idea on the surface which lobe is there. Okay. So today we are going to learn about the surface marking of the lungs. Okay. So first of all, before going to the surface mark, in that surface marking there are landmarks. So bony landmarks are, I will let you know what are there. Okay. So first of all, first landmark I want you to see is, this is the notch. Just below the cricoid cartilage there is a notch, and that notch is a jugular notch or a sternal notch. Okay, so this is a sternal notch or a jugular notch. Okay, from where the sternum begins. So manubrium sternum will start. If you palpate it, go downwards, you will find a horizontal ridge, and that horizontal ridge is a manubriosternal joint. So this manubrial sternal joint is very much important because lateral to it the second rib joins. So there is a second rib which will be joining to the manubriosternal joint. Okay, this is a second rib. These are the clavicles. Now this sternal notch and the manubriosternal joints are very much important landmarks, so that you can count the ribs then onwards. So from the sternal notch, if you go down, you will find a horizontal ridge. If you go lateral into the sternal angle, that is an angle between angle formed by manubrium and the sternal body, where this sternal angle, or it is also called as the angle of Lewis, from the angle of Lewis the second rib attaches. So there it is a second rib. First rib we cannot palpate as it is beneath the clavicles. So there onwards you can count the ribs 2, 3, 4 onwards. Okay. So this is important landmarks. Another important landmarks is Ziffy sternum. So if you go further down from the sternal body, you will find a groove, and that is a Ziffy sternum. Okay, where the Ziffy sternum will be, xiphoid process will be existing. So if you can palpate the groove, okay, that groove, if you see that groove is just above that, the xiphoid process is existing. So this is the groove where I am able to palpate a xiphoid process. So I'll just mark that also. So I have marked that groove also, right? So that is xiphoid process. So that is also one of the important bony landmark. Now another imaginary midline, imaginary markings are there. I'll quickly revise that. First is this is the clavicle. Okay, in mid clavicular line exists, which crosses the nipple. Here also mid clavicular line, which means from the mid of the clavicle, from the midline of the clavicle, if you divide a clavicle into two halves, the imaginary midline is called as a mid clavicular line. Another imaginary line is, this is axilla. In the axilla there is anterior side fold of axilla. So that is a anterior axillary fold. In this side also same, anterior axillary fold. Okay, so left and right. Now these are the bony landmarks and imaginary lines on the anterior surface of the thorax. Now on to the side. Please turn here. Hands behind. Here, like this. If you see, this is axilla. In the axilla from the middle, there is a mid axillary line. So we know mid axillary line. Please move forward. Back side. In back side also there is a posterior fold of axilla. So again posterior axillary line. So these are the imaginary lines. Okay. Now the posterior part of the thorax, upper back, in which one of the first most prominent spinous process is C7. If you flex the cervical spine, the most prominent spinous process you will feel, that is a C7. So I will mark this C7 also. Okay. If you go further down, you can count the ribs from count the spinous process from T1 onwards. Now along with that, these are the scapulas. In the scapulas, you can very clearly palpate the spine of scapula. Okay. So these are the spinoscapula. When a person is sitting upright, okay, straight upright, the spine of scapula is, so suppose this is a spine of scapula. Okay. So where they intersect, if you count here, it will automatically a T3 spinous process. You can also count from above, but this is a shorter way. This is one of the marking that if the spine of scapula, if you intersect the spinous process, you will be able to palpate, that is a T3. If you count, then you can find a T7 also. Okay. So you can count the spinous process onwards. If not, then in an erect person, when a person is standing or sitting erect, you will be able to find the inferior angle of scapula. So this is an inferior angle of scapula. Okay. If you intersect the inferior angle of scapula and the spinous process, you will be able to palpate is T7. This is an indirect way of palpating T7. Okay, just for knowledge purpose, if you are not sure, then you should count from C7 onwards. Okay, and then you count T10. So this is T7, this is T8, T9 and T10. So these are the important bony landmarks you are supposed to understand in the thorax to understand better the lung surface markings. Okay, now we will move forward to the lung borders. So there are three borders of lung. First is anterior border, second is inferior border, and the third is the posterior border. Okay, so please sir, come forward. Now we will talk about the anterior border. Now if we know lung is a conical shape, okay, each segment also is a conical shape. So first of all we will learn about the lung borders. Anterior border. Now the anterior border, both of the lungs are having an apex segment. So the apex of the lung are in a conical shape. Okay. So let me draw it here for your better understanding. Above clavicle 1 inch. 1 inch above the clavicle, there is a apex of lung, both the side. Okay. If I give you in detail, 1 inch above the medial end of the clavicle, there is an apex of lung. Okay. From there onwards, from the sternoclavicular joint, the anterior border runs downwards. I will talk first about the right side of the lung. Anterior border from the sternoclavicular joint till the xiphisternum, it goes down. So this is the anterior border from the sternoclavicular joint till the xiphisternum. Then it will merge laterally to the inferior border of the lung. So this anterior border of the lung from the sternoclavicular joint, it will go downwards till the xiphisternal level, and then it merges with the inferior border of the lungs. This is about the right side anterior border. Now I'll talk about the left side anterior border. In the left side anterior border, its border starts same like from the sternoclavicular line till the fourth costal cartilage. I need to count. This is the second rib, third rib, fourth rib. Okay. So fourth costal cartilage it runs, and then it makes a 1.5 inch of the lateral indentation. So this is approximately 1.5 inch of lateral indentation in the fourth and fifth costal cartilages, and then it will come back to the xiphisternum or a level of sixth costal cartilage, because the xiphisternal level, xiphoid process level is sixth costal cartilage. Okay, so from the xiphisternum it will come back, and then it merges the same and the merges with the inferior border. So this is about the left and the right anterior borders of the lung. On the left side, it makes a lateral indentation of 1.5 inch for the cardiac notch, for the cardiac space. It makes an indentation. Okay, so that is why it is called as a cardiac notch. Now from there it runs towards the inferior side, and it merges with the inferior border at the level of xiphisternum. Okay, so this is what the anterior border, both the sides. Now we all know that normally the right side lung is little bit, the border of the inferior border of the right lung is literally little bit upward, in an upward direction comparatively to the left lung. Because of the right lung there is an abdominal organ which is called as the liver. So because of the liver, right lung border is little bit in a higher way, but it is not that high so that it will be having a one rib up. It is very minimal level asymmetry. Okay, and that is why it is like this. Now inferior border starts from the xiphisternal level. It runs laterally and it reaches to the sixth rib at the mid-clavicular line. It runs further laterally towards the mid-axillary line. Please turn this way. It runs laterally further to the mid-axillary line, and it crosses the eighth rib. So it crosses the eighth rib at the mid-axillary line, and then further it will go posteriorly at the level of T10. Okay, so both the side this level is So both the side it is the same. At T10 level it reaches posteriorly. From anteriorly it starts from the xiphisternal level. It runs laterally and crosses the sixth rib at the mid-clavicular line. It goes further laterally to the mid-axillary line and crosses the eighth rib at the mid-axillary line. It goes posteriorly and it reaches to T10 level. Okay, so it is not exactly T, it doesn't go to the spinous process because it will have a spinal column and the vertebrates, and that is why it will not reach there. But yes, just 2 centimeter lateral to the T10 level, it merges with the posterior border of the lung. Now let me tell you, both the side posterior border of the lungs are same, just as the inferior border of lung. Posterior border starts from the T3, because above there, here also same, the conical shape apex will be there. So it starts from the T3 and it runs downwards till the T10 and it merges with the inferior border of the lung. So this is what are the 3 borders of the lung. Okay, now we will talk about the fissures of the lung. Let me remind you here that there are 2 fissures in the right lung and there is 1 fissure on the left lung. The common fissure is oblique fissure, which is existing in both the lungs. Okay, we will talk here first. The oblique fissure starts from the level of T3. Okay, so it starts from the T3. It runs obliquely downwards laterally. It runs obliquely downward. Oblique में जा रहा है वो. Obliquely downwards laterally and it reaches, sir, this turn here, yeah, and it reaches from the posterior, it crosses the fifth rib. Okay, it crosses the fifth rib at the mid axillary line. Okay, it goes further anterior, and it reaches to the sternal border at the level of sixth costal cartilage, or we can say at the level of xiphisternal, but it doesn't go and cut the two lobes of the lung. So it is actually going, and it will have a little space so that middle lobe is attached to the lower lobe. Okay, so actually it ends at the sixth costal cartilage. This is how right side upper and middle lobe divides from the lower lobe with the oblique fissure. So this fissure is oblique fissure. On the left side also it is same. On the left side also it reaches at the sixth costal cartilage. Okay, again let me tell you, it begins from the T3, runs obliquely downwards, it crosses the fifth rib, okay, at the mid axillary line, it goes anteriorly and it ends at the sixth costal cartilage anteriorly, just beside to the sternal border. Okay, now the another fissure which is dividing upper lobe from the middle lobe, that is oblique, that is a horizontal fissure or a transverse fissure. Okay, it starts from this. It starts again from the fifth rib. It goes horizontally anterior. It goes horizontal from the anterior, and it reaches at the, it ends at the fourth rib, little above. Okay, so horizontal fissure starts from the mid axillary line, fifth rib, it goes horizontally anterior, and it ends at the fourth rib anteriorly, just beside to the sternal border. Okay, I hope this is very much helpful for you to understand the lung surface marking. Okay, in the next video we will talk about the postural drainage and the goals, indications and the definitions. Okay, yeah, thank you.